This is the moment. It begins now. Hi, welcome. Today we're in the moment and we're here to discuss when something in your life starts feeling off and you can't ignore it anymore. Yes, if you've been feeling this, you already know why you're here. This moment is supported by our partners aligned with the Heal Our Heart Network for healing, clarity, and emotional well being. Thank you. These are moments like this where clarity doesn't come from thinking more and more. Okay, when you feel like life starting to feel a little off, don't ignore this. This is your clear indication to realign with spirit. This is often what I go deeper in my luxury activation readings. Not answers, but perspective. Perspective shifts that help you understand what's really happening and get a little bit beneath the surface of things. If that's something that you're looking for and you want to explore more, it's available in my link. Now, when it comes to feeling like things are just off, one of my personal experiences of transforming from that energy into alignment was first recognizing that I was out of alignment. Yes. One experience I had that completely reshaped and transformed my life is a personal testimony of mine. I went from living with my ex-boyfriend and shacking up and having a good time, so I thought, till one day God just spoke to me and was like, God had a real conversation with me about marriage. I really didn't want to get married, honestly. And so my understanding that God was trying to get me to see, he gave me the story of the woman at the well. And he pretty much told me the person that I was with wasn't going to marry me and that it wasn't about marriage that God was trying to shape in me. God was trying to get me to be a wonderful steward, okay? A steward of my finances, a steward of my life, and of my family. God was calling me to a position of leadership within my own life that I wasn't sure about. Actually, I was not sure. I was like, God, not me. And I remember sitting, just reading my Bible one night before it all went crazy. And God was speaking to me about the woman at the well. And then he also gave me the story of the talents. And God told me, look, I've given you gifts. I've given you talents. You must use them. If you don't use them, I'm going to give them to somebody else. That's very clearly what God told me. God also told me, you're not supposed to be living with this man or any other person. I'm taking care of you. That's what God told me. God told me, I'm going to take care of you. I am the best provider, the best healer. I'm going to heal you and I'm going to take care of you. And I was so confused because I'm like, I'm fine. I'm doing pretty good. I thought my life was in alignment with God. I thought working in marketing, having one of the best jobs, making the best money was in alignment with God. But it wasn't. And very clearly, I started to develop different issues to my health, to my mental health, to my emotional health, and my physical health. That started to be like triggers of like, oh, you're kind of out of alignment. And I was like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm making good money, honey. Okay. I'm having good sex, honey. I'm living, I'm living my life. What do you mean? Like, my 20s was lit. And God was like, baby, what are you doing? Literally, baby, what are you doing? And I was like, living it up? What do you mean? Traveling the world? And this took a moment. because I'm very stubborn. God had to sit me down multiple times and tell me to slow down and realize before I flipped over that I was moving out of alignment. My career was out of alignment. My dating choices were out of alignment. My goals were out of alignment. And slowly but surely, God showed me why. It wasn't necessarily about what I was doing it, but why I was doing it. A lot of the things that I had manifested in my old life were things my parents wanted me to do, things that I saw society tell me to do, or things I thought God wanted me to do. But it wasn't until I checked in with Spirit, with my source creator, that I realized I was moving out of alignment. Now, there was no shame and guilt from God. It was just truth and clarity. This is what I designed you to do, and you're not doing it. Now, a lot of you may understand that and have felt that, but some of you are not. Some of you are still living out of alignment, and that's why Spirit has me popping up on your timeline. This life lesson that I've learned, I'm coming here to share with you from my experience, of course, on how God changed my life and realigned me to my purpose. Okay? And my personal testimony. Okay? So let's go. So I'm sitting on my couch, coming up with this life purpose and this plan. I'm trying to figure out what my purpose is in life, right? And I'm sitting on this couch, and at the time, nothing in my life was working. Okay? COVID had just hit. This was 2020. I was trying to get more clarity on what to do, and I just was hitting a wall. I had spent 4 years in college on this degree for marketing, and I hated my jobs. I had rose into the top of my career. I was a senior level analyst, okay? And it was just not fulfilling. I was spending more time reading my Bible and in my word than I was actually doing my marketing work. Like, I could do my marketing work easily. I could get that done. And then on my lunch breaks, I was like reading my Bible. I felt the call on my life, but I didn't know what to do to be in alignment with that life. And so I would get dreams about it. I experienced a lot of depression and a lot of like feeling like I was living someone else's life, but it wasn't mine. Like, everyone around me was so happy and hype. Hi, welcome in. Everyone around me was so hype and happy about this life that I had created that was financially abundant, but it was incongruent to the life that God wanted for me. I started to develop anxiety disorder, started to have panic issues, and it eventually developed into full-blown depression. And for several years, I was on medications. I was going to therapies. Okay, I had different types of therapists, honey. I was determined to figure out what was wrong. Hi, welcome in. And it wasn't until God sat me down that year specifically. He allowed me to go through this experience, try all the doctors, all the medications and things, until I finally came to God and was like, actually, I went to my grandfather, and this was right before he passed, because he passed in around August 2020, maybe a little earlier. And he was sharing with me, of course, hi, welcome in. Thank you. I appreciate you guys' love and support as always. We are on day 26 out of day 30, okay? Whoop whoop. Shout out to my community for showing up and showing out every single day. Thank you for subscribing. Your support means so much. So, my grandfather, I'm talking to him, and he's like, Jesus Christ is the best healer. And I was like, what? Here I am. I'm trying all these different things, trying to get my life in flow when God is the best director. Thank you, baby. This is I call this my LA girl clip up, honey. This is my rich try, but I didn't try look. Okay. This is just a little hair clip, little vibe type thing. Okay. So after having that conversation with my grandfather, I realized, wow, you're right. You're so right. Um, Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Let me go to God. So once I went to God, he told me all these things and was like, look, you're out of alignment. You're in a career that's not in alignment with me. And you're going to all these doctors and therapists and things. Well, really? Oh, come on. This is a message. When really all you need is me. When really all you need is me. And a little exercise. So God gave me an exercise regimen. And God told me that he was going to transform my life, uh, make me a wonderful steward of my finances, and make me a leader of people. I said, what are you talking about? Not me. Are you kidding? What? What? The place that I was in life, guys, it felt like a joke when God was telling me this. And because of that, I didn't really take God serious at first. And I ignored the calls. And then the signs started to ramp up even more. So let's go over some of the signs of when you're out of alignment with spirit. Okay. All these experiences allowed me to see that God has been good to me and has set me from a life that I did not want. Okay. I was living a life I didn't want. I was living it for other people. And that was one of the clear signs that I was out of alignment. Okay. And I made a vow from that point on that I was going to live a life that was pleasing to God and not to man. So if you're in the comments hating on me, honey, that's not the deal that I signed up with God for. And the only reason why I have this platform to even talk is because of God. So I'm going to do what God says on this platform. Okay. So I can keep this platform. Because what you don't understand is God will get rid of you if you hating on me for doing his work. Okay. All right. All right. So when we are misaligned, we miss opportunities. Okay. And then we start to see it in other people. God had given me this vision clearly that where I was and what I was doing was out of alignment. I just didn't know how to get back to it. And eventually, because that's how God works. God don't just give you the message and be like, all right, listen. And so one of the things that I noticed was I got emotional signals that I was out of alignment. Yes. One of the emotional signals was depression, like I mentioned earlier, anxiety, and suicide. Yes, even suicide. I attempted suicide my freshman year of college because I was out of alignment, 100%. I was doing too much. I was expecting too much. And I didn't realize that God was holding my hand through the process. Okay. God was holding my hand through the process. And it wasn't until I attempted suicide and I was pumped, my stomach full, like releasing the stuff that I tried to attempt suicide over, that I had that come to Jesus moment that I was sitting in the hospital bed. And God was like, you're going to graduate college, right? I got all this taken care of, right? And you know that on your graduation day is going to be one of the most beautiful days where your parents are going to come together and celebrate your life and all you've accomplished. And I was like, what? Why couldn't you tell me this before? But so that's the thing. When we start to get down this road of sadness and grief that becomes so extreme, it's because we're carrying too much. And we have to learn to release to God. That's when you know you're out of alignment. When you're carrying too much, when you're thinking you can do it all by yourself, you're out of alignment. God put you with the purpose that came with Him. Like, it doesn't work unless you include God. It's God's purpose for your life. It's not your purpose for your life. And that's where I had messed up. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to college for me. I'm doing this for me. When really it was about God's purpose on my life. Like, I didn't really even have the idea to go to college. So long story short, that was one experience that I learned real quick. Like, ooh, I'm living out of alignment. My mental health isn't okay. My emotional state isn't okay. I'm doing too much. My life was so out of alignment that I did not even want to live my own life. Okay? And then for some of y'all, you're getting that, you understanding that. I'm talking to you, okay? You're feeling it. Hopefully you're not. But if you've ever experienced that, that is a clear sign you're out of alignment. Hurriness was a sign that you were out of alignment. If you are constantly in a hurry to get somewhere, you're not on time. You're not moving in divine timing, because divine timing lets you know you're right on time. There's no need to rush. Okay? If I would find myself rushing through my days, or rushing to get to a job that was not the job that was for me, or rushing to get to an event that probably wasn't going to enjoy, that hurriness, what are we in a rush for? Everything is moving in divine timing. There's no need to rush. So I learned to slow down, to be in flow with spirit, because God is not in a rush. Honey, God is so not in a rush that it took him 7 days to do something he could have did in seconds. But there's no need to rush when you are doing God's work. Come on. So hurriness was a sign that I was out of alignment with divine. Laziness was a sign that I was out of alignment with divine. So you can go from one side of the spectrum, from being extremely in a rush to not doing nothing at all and being lazy. That's out of alignment too. If there's things that you know God is calling you to do and you choose not to do them, woe unto you, honey. That's all I'm going to say. If God is giving you a clear vision on what to do and you're not doing it, you're out of alignment. Yes, we love to see that. Now, what I recognized my energy shifted once I was in alignment was a simple thing. Joy. Yes. When you're in a state of joy, you can really enjoy the presence of God. And being in the presence of God will put you in direct alignment with God. And so joy helped me to really refocus. Joy can also heal a downcasted soul, a soul that's in despair. Okay, God is a God of hope. And so when we have hope for joy, it transforms our life. Make sure you are subscribed. and focused. I got focused when I realized I was in alignment. All right, okay, Spirit, this is really what you want me to do? All right, no more distractions. And gratitude, being grateful for your life and your light and where God is taking you, even if you're not sure where you're going, is the first place to start. To realign you with Spirit, being grateful for God, being grateful for your talents and your abilities. So once I trusted God, I was excited. Okay, once God said, all right, your life is out of alignment, it's time to readjust you, things started to move. Because like I told you, when you're out of alignment, you miss opportunities. When you're out of alignment, you can't see where God is taking you. Now, sometimes when you're in alignment, you may not be able to see that either, but you are listening and you're ready. You're prepared for the opportunity. It's like, okay, God said, listen, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how it works when you are in alignment. Once God told me that, things started to just come to me that I did not even ask for. Okay, so God put it on my heart that the person that I was living with was not going to be the person I was going to marry, and that God wanted me to have my own place and to take care of my own bills. Hello, y'all see what I'm sitting on? Hello, you see it. You see it. Big God did his big one. Okay, and so before this moment, I didn't believe it because I couldn't see it at all. But God said, okay, get ready. Opportunities are coming to you. Baby, I lost my job back in 2020. That was my epitome. It was like my job, right? And the day that I lost it, God had already told me, and I wasn't sad about it. And it was 2020, so everybody had gotten laid off. I was running the international division. They couldn't do the international division anymore because the borders were closed. So it was all in alignment. It was like, oh, okay, God wanted me to move out of this career. He told me he was going to appoint me to a position of leadership and that he wanted me to have my own place. Well, God, how am I going to get my own place if I don't have a job? And then you want me to get my own place, but do you want me to do it in this city? No. God's like, I want you to move to California. I said, huh? This can't be true. I went and got several Bible verses that confirmed it. Just randomly looking at my Bible, just opened it on random pages, and it was like, be bold and courageous and go. I was like, huh? So the signs started to come through. I started getting Bible verses. Okay. I started getting people who didn't even know me to minister to me about moving. Like random people coming up to me that were prophets, like, you're supposed to be moving. You need to be packing. Why haven't you packed? I'm like, huh? The signs were signing, y'all. They were just coming in one by one. So because I was ready by saying yes to God, like, oh, okay, I stopped being in the relationship. I broke up with the person that I was with. I even started sleeping on the couch to completely just stop it. And I started looking for apartments. I came and flew out to California. But as I'm doing all these things that I'm thinking are preparing me, God was already preparing the way. Okay. He found my apartment. He found my job. Like literally 30 days before my lease is up with my ex-boyfriend. And I'm like panicking. I'm like, God, where am I going to move? What am I going to do? What's going to happen? The Lord sends someone randomly to me. And I thought it was a joke because it was just so divine. That's how it was like, what? The person comes to me and they're like, I have a job for you. It's a senior analyst position. It's a work from home position. You can work anywhere in the world and we'll provide you all the equipment, the computer, everything. And we're going to pay you the most you've ever paid for the work that you're doing. And it's going to be super easy work. I was like, what? Sign me up. Baby, we did the interview, went through the whole interview process. I was so nervous. A week goes by and another prophet comes to me. This time it's my grandmother. She's like, you need to pack. I feel like you're getting ready to move. You need to have your stuff packed. And I'm like, okay. Things start to happen. My apartment that I'm staying in catches on fire, y'all. Not even kidding. The night that I'm praying about this and the Lord gives me all these downloads, and my apartment catches on fire. But it's not my apartment, it's the apartment building that catches on fire. And for some reason, my apartment gets missed. But the fire, unfortunately, torches my neighbors below me. Like their entire apartment is gone. But for some reason, it does not reach my apartment. The people to the left of me and the people to the right of me, but not my apartment. I said, okay, God, that's a clear sign. That's a clear sign. It's time for me to get up out of here. So this is literally weeks before I get ready to move. I ended up getting the job. My stuff is packed up and ready to go. And then I ended up finding an apartment days before I ended up having to move. Sign the lease and move in on my birthday. Okay, I moved in 5 years ago. Guys, this happened 5 years ago on my birthday. And I'm like, wow. But it all happened from that moment of clarity. It all happened from God shaking me up and waking me up to say, look, there's a better life for you. Now, 5 years later, I've been through a lot of experiences since that moment. Definitely have been traumatizing. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. God definitely didn't say it was gonna be easy, but it was worth it. And now from this moment today, I can share, have my own place. I'm financially stable. Okay. I'm running my own business. I'm leading people, and I'm so grateful. Okay. Because that woman that sat on that couch when God told her that she could do everything, did not believe that at all. I thought that as a woman, I wouldn't be able to take care of myself without a man. I thought that I wouldn't be smart enough to handle my finances without a man. And I thought that I needed relationships outside of God to make me happy. And it wasn't true. I didn't end up marrying that guy, clearly. God bless him, though. And later on realized we were totally unequally yoked, okay? Totally unequally yoked. So it all worked out. And God just showed me very clearly that he believed in me more than I believed in myself. And sometimes it's going to take a drastic change to realign your life with spirit. And sometimes it's just one simple change. Maybe you don't need to move across the country, okay? Maybe you just need a grateful spirit. Recognizing you have been operating with God, without God, is the first step to getting in alignment. Surrender to God's will for your life. I promise you, you will not be sorry. Because the life that you think you want is somehow not going to pan out to be the life you really want in the end. As someone who's personally experienced it, you'll start to feel it in your body. You'll start to feel it in your relationships and in your environment. That this is just not right for you. When you allow for God to come into your life and transform it, and when you listen for God's will, things move with ease. Things flow. Okay? And share your testimony when it does. Because you who's watching, I know for a fact that God put me in your vortex because you're getting ready to go through a major transformation. And this shift is going to require you to share your testimony with other people so that they can go through their own shift too. Okay? I'm literally sitting in the apartment that God promised me. I'm living the life that God promised me. And I am sitting in the position of teaching you, which God promised me. And I'm not doing it because of my own merit. It's because of God's will. God did that. And God will continue to do that on my life and yours. Okay? Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's live talk. Okay? This was so much fun to share my experience and just really remind myself how much I'm blessed to be on this platform, to be able to share what I'm going through with you guys. This is the moment we end here.